evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal.
I'm Sunny,
aka
Henry and Sunny Paul.
And we have with us
Rowan.
How are you?
Hello.
Mate?
Very good, very good.
Alright, so first off, we have Alex Hoggerus
No, let's not do that.
Okay, I just don't know how to say the Swedish that makes the furniture float.
Oh dear.
Look, there's two, I don't even know what kind of O that is.
Special.
Yeah, I know what an umlaut is, but I don't know what the one with the line through it is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I tried to do a bit of object source lighting, but that is tricky. I love Alex's options because they all are quite funny with the way that they the English doesn't quite come through some of the time, and it is a bit of a hoot to read, but we get what he's trying to say, and yeah.
So, what do you think, Ron? Because we showed you this a bit earlier.
I absolutely love the model, the colours. I am absolutely over the moon. I am a dead set lover of bold colours and OSL. That is my bread and butter. I love it so much. And it's so difficult when you're putting that green highlight onto that blue on the backpacks. It doesn't come through quite as much, but if you get more saturation in darker colours and you sort of focus on the low lights instead of the highlights, you'll actually get more of a shine. There is a technique if he wants to try it, using contrasts over metal, and that is a lot of fun. So maybe next time just grab a metal and go with a blue contrast over the top, and then you can actually get more of a green sheen from everything and go from there. But I love it. It's such a good model. Maybe a little bit of black lining, but
yeah. Well, so
the hair is what sold me. I love it.
Yeah. So I think we saw some of these girls last week, and one of the big issues before was they were just blue and white with black accents. So I think he's really pushed himself from where he is there. I think you could go a little bit higher in some of the highlights here if you're going for that sort of greenish flame.
I think you could go in with like a bit of a fluoro yellow in the highest of the hot, the brightest part of the flame. That'll bring
I
it
think
out.
what he was trying to achieve is that it was actually like smoke. You know how you see an oil fire and you see the flame through the smoke.
Yeah.
So you've got the highlights on the inside, and then you've got the darker shades on the outside.
I follow what you're saying. I'm just saying still it could go lighter with the
100%.
highlights. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But also the other thing is I don't know if down here is meant to be that's meant to be the lights from this. Because if that's the case, that shouldn't be there. Not that you've done it badly, but the light wouldn't reach that far down.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I'd remove that green and just because the model is such a clean model, if she was going through terrain like that, you'd actually have splash up on the boots and up on the drape, that drape. So probably remove the green and actually splash the mud and the grass up on the skirt so it actually blends. So the model isn't sort of cut in half where it's base and model. It's actually one piece.
Yep.
The environment is shown to be interacting with the model as well.
I'd probably do that with pigment powder. What would you do it with to get the mud up?
Pigment powder is probably the best. I mean, if you don't have access to pigment powder, whatever your basing material and PVA, and then if it's looking too wet, you can just go with a matte varnish after it's all done and dusted.
Yeah.
I mean, probably just maybe a brown wash on the feet to dull it all down from where the mud's getting affected. But other than that, it's a nice looking model. He's done well.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with everything that you've said there. And next up, we've got Paul Ewog.
Was it Paul?
Yeah.
I've got Andy.
Well, obviously you do not. Oh my good lord! Look at that level of text. You don't have it organized by.
I did.
Yeah, most relevant.
Did it again. Okay.
So I'll read some of this out. Oh my god, there's a lot. I'm working on 2 units of Star Wars Legion Rebel Fleet Troopers, and I wanted to put them on the. Well, Rowan, there is a tradition here. If somebody gives us an acronym and they don't explain it, we have to mock the acronym. So SRWL.
What does it stand for?
Swimming without legs.
Yes. Fantastic. Agree.
Oh yes. Good work. My usual work is a plain base. Apply ceramic stucco.
No. Sorry. Okay, we can't make fun of him because I realized.
Oh, it's Star Wars Legion. He did say that.
Sorry.
Yes, he did say that. But still, it's traditional.
Traditional swimming without legs, premium bases.
All right, you want to start reading?
Yes. My usual base work is a plain base. Apply ceramic stucco or cover the stucco with contrast paint, dry brush titanium buff, and maybe a or 2. For those, I tried a few paints with gloss mediums, some metallics, and GW's Tesseract gloss for the grills and deck holes.
Rowan, is stucco speckle?
I have a
Spackle?
Yeah, stucco is yes and no. It's sort of the same sort of stuff, but a different company. It's got a different.
Oh yeah, so same but different. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
2 different bright colors, 1 for each unit. I'll post a full painting list in the comments. Oh, there's more. Oh yes, okay, yeah. All right. Later tonight. Overall, I am pleased with the result. Though next time, I think I will go with color, metallic, and either a lighter gray or white instead of both. However, probably not the white with the blue. It's giving me Zentity. Is that how you say it?
You know what? I'm gonna cut us off here.
Zentity Battle Pod.
Zentity Battle. All right, with Zentity Battle Pods as our final sentence, what do you think, Rowan?
Oh, it just needs a wash.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
That's all it needs. You just put a nice black or brown wash on that and just hit it with some varnish. Yeehaw. If you want those panels to pop, once you give it a little bit of contrast, you can do a little bit of edge lighting. But they're fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like he might be going for like a super clean look here, right? And like that might be why he's not washing. But other than that, like I would agree, like they're very sort of plain.
But you can define the but you can define the panels more.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to wash them, you put a black line or a black ink in between those panels, and it'll make them pop 100% more because you can see the red bleeding in through the lines. You see the greys bleeding through the lines.
I think that's actually copper rather than red.
Oh, right. Okay, so it's purposely done. He's gone over on top.
Yeah, so but I was going to agree with you, but in a different direction. I think one of the things is, have you seen when people do, like, for example, the Hero Quest sort of style things where they make as if the light's all coming from one direction? So, for example, with this, you'd have this L here, this L here, this L here, and this L here, all highlighted on that edge sort of thing to sort of give some definition to it. Because like
comic book style cell
cell
shading.
shading, yeah, kind of, but more just it's more just to give some definition to the things because I agree with you, they're very flat, but I don't know Star Wars Legion models that well. Maybe they're like really super complicated, so maybe you.
No, these are more colourful than most of the Star Wars Legion models. So he's gone with black. He's gone with the green, just to give it a little bit of detail.
Yeah.
Grey and a blue feature panel, blue or red feature panel.
Yeah.
And if you go through the movies, I mean, they're very mute movies to begin with. So he's gone over and beyond. I mean, even with the feature panel, just to give it a pop of colour is more than enough.
I do.
Because you imagine all your Starship Troopers are all just white and black.
Yeah, I do believe the thing that I've heard with the movies is tone deaf, but you know, mute is one way of putting it. All right. So next up, we've got Lance Davenport. Would you like to read for us?
Princess Piglet, granddaughter wanted one, so I got this and it was too small. Got her a bigger one to paint for herself. But here's mine.
Yeah. So, what do you think of Princess Piglet, Rowan?
It's adorable. How could you not? Oh, I want one.
Yeah, I would like a little.
Yeah, I think it.
I mean,
yeah, go.
It's perfect. I mean, it's not your normal run-of-the-mill tabletop, but everything's coloured, everything's shaded. It's got that nice, like you just literally want to pick it up and give it a cuddle.
Yeah.
It looks like a stuffed animal, and it's beautiful.
I think that it. Oh, sorry, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, because I was gonna say that the pastel colors and the little texture that you can see from the brush strokes.
No, I think that might be the STL actually.
You think?
I'll
I
go
don't
in
think so.
closer. I'll take a closer look. Yeah, continue.
The texture almost makes it look like a acrylic painting or in that you see in children's book illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the style that it looks exactly like it came from a children's book. And I think the only I think the only thing I would add is if he could go through his wife's things and just grab a bit of blush and a makeup brush on the cheeks.
Yeah, no, because I was actually going to comment on that, because if we go in real close, right? If we go in real close, we see that there is a bit of pink there, but
it's
it does
reflective from the flowers.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, because like I was just thinking, you know, he just needs to bring it up a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. And then I think next up we have another shot of the Princess Pig. A reference shot is what he called it. And like, I don't know. I think maybe there was some
it's
blush.
Very light, but
Yeah,
you can't see.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that. Just a little bit more pink, and you know, like just getting a makeup brush and doing like a really, really simple dry brush on that, and that would be perfect. Nothing more, just that, just to
a little blushy.
Yeah. All right, Rowan.
Not to do with the.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say about the Princess Pig. You can see the we're only nitpicking here, but if you want to go back into your Princess Pig, you can see the lines from the STL file as well.
Yeah,
and it always ruins a really nice model seeing print lines. So with anyone out there that does STLs and stuff, just give them a quick sand. Just even if you've got a flat panel or something where your eyes are going to be drawn to, because 90% of the time your eyes are always drawn to the top of the torso, the head, and the shoulder pad area.
Yep,
if
the
you
triangle.
nail that in the triangle, you nail that, then you've got no problem with the rest of the model. I don't even paint the underside of my model. It's just pitch black, but everyone goes, oh, it's really, really nice. I'm like, yeah, half of it's not even painted. Especially because it's on the back of the pig, so it's going to be one of the first things you do see.
Yeah. I agree. But next up, we've got Joseph. Would you like to read out for Joseph?
A week or two back, I was asking how to paint red hot metal, and Chris Lee gave me some instructions. I tried them out tonight, except a bit about testing it on first. Who's got time for that? and I took some step-by-step pictures. If I could actually glaze this wood better, but it's close enough. Thanks, Chris. Number 1, solid undercoat white. 2,
Yep.
base coat with bright yellow.
Yep.
3, glaze away from center of glow with orange.
Yep.
4, glaze further out with red.
Yep.
5, dry brush tips with dark brown. And 6, dry brush tips.
Yep, well,
I would say these are standard steps for hot metal.
yeah, well, what do you reckon? How do you reckon it came out, right?
It's good. It suits the model. I mean, if you really wanted to go a little bit more ballistic, you can go a little bit of OSL on the tongs as well. If you're going that far as doing glowing metal, just paint a little, just glaze a little bit onto your tongs to show that it is glowing hot.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's great. It's fantastic. Reference photos when you're painting anything like OSL, glowing objects or anything, you need reference photos. So go Google what glowing hot metal is or what sort of object you're trying to paint or an idea or anything you're trying to create, and get a portfolio of going with what do I want to achieve with this? How am I going to achieve it? And then you just start from a photo and you just pick apart the colors.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what he's done here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, and it's really nice seeing this, because this is what WAYPN's all about. Because, like, often I think what the issue is online, and I guess this is my previous psychology thing, is a thing called upwards comparison, where people look at something on... Do you know a Facebook group called Evia Metaler?
Evia Metal.
Yeah.
Oh, Evia Metal, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, Evia Metal.
Yeah. And, like, you'll see stuff done by these guys, and it's just absolutely top tier. And, like...
It's next level.
And, like, the thing is, people forget, right? How long has this person actually been working on this thing? And I think that's what's really good, because often we'll see people just do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and they get how much work goes into these pieces.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to spend the time and learn how to do non-metallic metals, my hat's off to you. I've tried, I've failed. I'd rather just slap on some bolt gun, give it a wash, and then highlight with some silver.
Well, like,
you know, like it's a time thing for me. I can't sit there for 20 hours trying to paint a blade, doing 40 glazes to get one look.
Yeah. So like, the thing I think of is this, right? I don't understand non-metallic metal. I like true metallic metal, because, like, with that, the shine still catches the eye and people are like, ooh. But, like, true metallic metal, people have to have, like, a real appreciation for it. You got to get it just right and this, that, and the other. But instead of going off on a rant, because we've got so many to get through, let's take a look at the next one. All right, honey, would you like to read?
Yes.
All right, so we've got Lance Davenport. We got to find his... There we go.
There we go. Air elemental that needed a bit extra. Add the swirls of dust, and as an afterthought, it needed a bit of color in the... Wanted something different than the paper cutter blues, so I started with a dark purple and worked out from there. Ta-da! As they say.
Well, what are your thoughts, Ryan?
The model actually looks like it's going to... it's fantastic. It's... What it is you didn't need to highlight all the whites all the way around. So everywhere where the shadow is, don't put the white, and only highlight where sort of giving it a zenithal look would actually give you the same feel. So you can highlight from your purple to your dark blue to your mid blue all the way up to your ice blues, and then just going and doing your whites just purely on top. And that'll give you a natural grade of shadow for a model instead of actually just dry brushing white all over the rings, and it'll give you a natural shine. It's a good looking model.
Yeah.
And I love the like Sonny said it before, like the tufts. He's even spun the tufts to actually blend in with the model, which is the best part about this model.
Well, I think
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's touches like that which will really sort of push like your regular sort of tabletop models just beyond. It's never like oh, I spent an extra 6 hours on this, right? Like if you just go, oh well, I just got this spider and spun this PVA with I forget what the glue you use, but anyway, like, and you make a spider's web, and like people will just be like, oh my god, look, there's a spider's web in the background. It's never like the thing that you spend 6 hours doing. It's just that little bit.
Yeah. I agree. And I think that's kind of the point of the whole diminishing returns thing that we talk about with minis. Because sometimes, I know a lot of people apparently don't really enjoy doing skin work because you need to spend a lot of time getting the blends just like airbrush smooth. I really like it doing the skin work. But then I find myself, like, sometimes the face is just, half my nail size?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't think
If
anyone's...
that.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to notice.
As long as you get the eyes right.
Yeah.
As long as you get the eyes right, because how many times have you seen people trying to paint eyes and they've got that goofy look like they're staring at the wall and the floor at the same time?
Speaking...
If you just nail the eyes, no one's going to give two flying.
Exactly.
Speaking of
about the skin,
it's time for me to be punished for my hubris. All right, we have Henry Grant.
Next model.
We always make the same joke about ourselves.
All right.
To tell it.
So Sunny and I have been going hog wild and doing a lot of painting for Valentine's Day instead of doing like chocolates and flower stuff. So I painted Adonis and Julianthe for the video we've got going up this week, and she painted up. So is it Romulan?
Romillion, like Romeo.
And Fumiko. So I will share my shots and the group shots, and she can share her ones and hers. All right. I hope you have an awesome weekend. And what are you painting now? You should probably make a post about it. All right. So here we go. Ryan, do your worst.
Okay, zoom in on that cummerbund for me.
What's a cummerbund?
I don't know.
The rags around his waist.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what is it called?
Okay, yep. So I will open up new image. Alright, there we go.
Okay. So you've still got your STL lines again. I mean, it's such a fine model. Unless you're gonna get in there with a Dremel, you're never gonna get it. A little, probably, maybe a very tiny amount of black lining, because if you put a tiny line between that bright pink, that purple, and that top purple, if you did that, you'll actually separate the panels a lot more, and you'll give it more definition with that tiny little bit there. The whites are perfect. Like, they're clean as hell. Like, you can't get any better than that, especially on such a tiny model with 3D printing as well. Because a lot of people don't realize that painting a resin model and painting a STL model are so different, because it eliminates so many different techniques that you can use. So if you were to dry brush a STL model, you'd just end up picking up all the layer lines.
Yeah. So, like guy.
Go down on these little back panels. What is that?
Oh, that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Time to zoom in for
boat.
Mr. Rowan.
What is that?
What is that, Rowan? What is that?
Oh, that's fantastic. Well done. That is so nice.
Well, here's the thing, Rowan. Do you know who made this STL model?
No, I don't.
Have a guess.
Did you just? Is it a cop cut from Hero Forge?
Nope. It's ours.
No. Oh, did you get one?
Yeah, no, these belong to us. These are if people sign up to our YouTube, they get
Yep.
these models.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, they are such great character models for any D&D.
Yeah. Well,
But
like that's
You
what.
can just you put a lute in his hand, you got yourself a bard. You put a sword in his hand, you got a fighter.
Yeah.
Put a warhammer, you get a warhammer the size of him. There you go. You got your barbarian. They're fantastic.
Well, that's yeah. So that's what's going on, and this was the other one that I did up, which was the
Julianthi.
Yeah. So but yeah. This is actually resin cast, but I'm almost certain that it's resin cast from a 3D print because of that
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, but you give it a quick scrape with a scalpel, they'll be fine. I mean, the golds are nice. Are they? How many layers did you go on your golds?
I think it's the sort of standard that I do. So I think for my gold, I have like 4 or 5. So
Yeah.
you just go your base layer, and then the first highlight is the majority of everything, which is that which I think is dwarven gold. And then I do elven gold, and then I do a mix of elven gold and a thing called White Alchemy by Scale 75. These are all Scale 75 paints. And then I do just a dot of White Alchemy.
Yep.
But
yeah, you can tell on the top of her thigh that gold and her armband are the ones that sort of sell it.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get that just on the nipple tassels. You'll never get that that transition.
Well, he's correct. That's what they are.
Well, they look like nipple chains.
Oh,
so
if you got that much gold hanging off your nipples, there's something wrong with you.
Well, look, they're dark elves, you know. Look,
they're rich and slutty.
Slanish.
Yes, that's one way. So those are my ones, and I guess now it's time for Sunny to get her just punishments.
Yes.
Bom bom bom. All right, you have to read out now because that's the rule.
Okay. Henry has already done the big spiel in his post, so here are my Valentine's Day contribution. Romillion and Fumiko, I had fun painting them. Art references include...
Oh yeah, because you know how you were saying they would look like D&D models? There you go. Oh, what? Oh, there we go. So this is Romillion. What are your thoughts on Romillion here?
Zoom in on the thigh panel for us.
Okay, you're a thighs man.
He's a thigh guy.
Thigh guy.
Well, it's the largest panel that you can see the different shades in.
Yeah.
So if you nail that, then the rest of the model will actually follow suit. So, I mean, the blends are nice. The pinks are good. I mean, everything contrasts really nicely with the sort of the royal pink, the gold, and the mithril type of mail that he's got. So it's really nicely done. It's the lower half. See how you've got that. Dark blue on the inside of the thigh. You could have brought that down just over the top of the knee just a little bit to give yourself a little bit more definition between the knee, between the gold over the knee and that white. But other than that, I mean, I'm literally nitpicking. I can't paint.
But I mean, like,
I cannot paint any better.
I did
That-
this in the NM, what do you call it? Non-metallic metal style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were talking about how we don't want to do non-metallic metal, and here's Sunny. Why not? Just
Well,
why
you
not?
said it was
Yeah.
meant to be showcased, so
Yeah.
Plus, I think
I
for
can-
me, I can't really get true metallic metals right. Like the golds that you see there are true metallic metals using the exact same paints that Henry used for the golds on the nipple tassel lady that you saw earlier. And I feel I don't have as much proper control with that as I do with non-metallic metal. Maybe because I treat it like I'm drawing it, like drawing rather than painting it.
I don't know, because, like, I feel like my my true metallic metal gold comes up a lot better than my true metallic metal steel. I don't know what the reason is, but, like, just steel I seem to have trouble with, but, I think every, yeah.
I agree.
But
No, I don't like non-metallic metals. It's not that I don't like them. I love non-metallic metals. I don't have the patience or the skill for them.
I totally get it. Like after some
Yeah.
point in time, I also was just like, oh, I want to be done with this. Yeah.
Yeah, and once you the thing with non-metallic metals is that once you find the sweet spot on the model, you have to draw all the non-metallic metals with the same rays, the same reflection from that one spot. You spin it 30 degrees, it doesn't make sense. You spin it 80 degrees, it doesn't make sense. Like they are really well done, and my hats are off to anyone that can paint non-metallic metals. It is tricky and it is time consuming, and I do really enjoy looking at it. But with just your normal run-of-the-mill metals, it's shiny no matter where you sort of put it. So, and the time consumption and stuff like that, it's a personal preference for me and time for me. But if you've got more skill, and more talent than I do if you can paint non-metallic metals.
or more time.
Right. So I'm just going to take the time. I'm going to take the time to just read what comments are on the chat currently. So we've got Sergeant T. I think he's what Tatey? Tatey, is that how he's trying?
Sergeant T.
Sergeant T. I love seeing all the different models being displayed just to see all the techniques that everyone brings to the table. And then he said, I never have thought of tackling the swirly whirly boy in that way. Yeah. And then he says, I said it on the page, but that gold is amazing. So I think he's talking about your one.
Yeah.
And then what is the shadow color of the gold? So question for you.
So I do believe it's called decayed metal or something bronze. It's a part of the I think it's called Gold Alchemy pack by Scale 75. They've got 2 metal packs. Also
Created Man says, trying to find a photo I did of Lionel Johnson's shield that is true metallic metal but painted in a sort of non-metallic metal way. Well, if you would like to add that in as a post, maybe we can at the end of the thing.
But even if you did a non-metallic metal with metallic metals, like you do that sort of same technique, it comes out really nice because you get that nice shimmer still. With the non-metallic metals, you don't have that, so you got to fake it with all your colors. It's the same with the OSL. It's the same with the OSL.
Totally understand.
But before I get Rowan to comment on this, I just have to comment on Joseph's comment right here. Is she a were pretzel?
Oh, yeah, remember that, yeah. Called it a were pretzel.
All right, Rowan.
You know what you got to do now. You've got to put her on a snow base and say it's not snow, it's salt.
All right, Rowan. Do your worst.
It's neat. I mean, go down to hold on. If we're gonna do it properly, you'd start from the bottom up. The base, the base is painted solid black. You've done a great job. You've got 90% of half the guys beat out there already,
Finish
Sonny.
pass.
Well, it's actually that new max staff to be more light absorbing.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Green
Phantom
Stuff
Blast.
World Max Dark paint.
No,
Yep.
you've nailed the thigh highlight, like
Thank
that
you.
thigh highlight that's going over the top. That would have taken you some time.
It did.
You
I
could've-
was going for a
yeah.
stockings look, like the sheer stockings. Yeah.
Yep, that would have taken, and that explains if you've gone with stockings. That explains why her legs and her arms are different shades.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, yeah, if you're doing tassels like that, every once in a while, put like a lather or a like a little crosshatch in it, so you can actually define that it is stockings or something like that.
Okay.
Just because people will look at the legs and the arms, and you'll go, oh, that's two different colors, if they didn't pick up on like tassels or garters or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. That's a good point. I'll keep in mind next time.
But now, Sonny,
I mean,
Sonny's
yeah,
actually got the
that's-
reference
that's-
art here, so you can see
yeah.
how it was. Did you also put up? No, you only put up the reference art for your one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the guy has a very sort of similar look with the way that he's dressed, as you can tell. So that's why my guy has the two-tone arms as well. But we've spent long enough on ourselves. We're greedy.
You're not greedy. We don't get to get reviewed. We always review other people, you know.
Yes, but see, we put this on for other people. That's our whole deal, isn't it?
Then
We
should
can
not.
pick apart our own crap all the time.
Yeah. All right. You know, I'm reading this. This.
Oh, yes.
It's by Davith,
Yes.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not what he has painted now, but what he has painted 20 years ago.
Oh.
Read, woman, read. We need to make sure, because
Sorry for the lack of engagement recently, folks. Been a bit meh. I have, however, dug out my old Empire army for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I want to say I did most of the 15 and 20 years ago, between 6th and 7th editions of the game. Unsurprisingly, another project I never got finished. A challenge for this year's Links.
Okay, so we will take a look, Rowan, but we will not give too much commentary because Davith has been bad.
David
And
has been bad.
And he has not actually painted this stuff up recently. It is not what he is painting now.
In fact, David has not shown us any paintings
This year.
this year and last year for
I think
quite a lot for last year.
No, he did some priming last
He did
year.
priming.
Well, that counts. That
David, listen to my husband. You are becoming a semi-laughing stock at this point. You need to show us something.
To be honest, if that's what he was painting 20 years ago, and that's a good quality, he better step it up. Because
Yeah, see, even the
Oh.
guest tells you.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's 20 years ago with the old Citadel paints. They were about as good as chalk and water. And so,
Hey,
I know,
I
like,
painted with those paints from 20 years ago. They're not that bad. I mean, I am giving my age away a bit, but I mean, like, Magic
I actually
Mud.
gave a couple of those pots away the other week.
Do you remember?
And yeah, they are that bad.
Do you remember Devlin Mud? Do not disgrace the name of Devlin Mud. That was
Oh, no. Oh, okay, Devlin Mud was good, but that wasn't a paint. That was a wash.
a wash is a
one was an ink,
paint.
No,
wasn't it?
it's not. A wash is
Oh, I see how it is.
Well,
You're ganging up on me.
gang up.
All right.
Well, it's not a paint because it's using a different medium, isn't it?
Hold on. No. Actually, I don't think it does use a different medium. I think it uses the same medium, but like
It's got a flow medium in it.
I'm not sure.
It's got a flow.
Oh, you mean it's got a flow enhancer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a flow
Different
enhancer,
medium.
but like the medium is still the what do you call it? I've forgotten what the standard mix medium is. And now, because of GW's brain rot, all I can think of is Lamian medium. And like
Lamian medium, yeah.
Everyone comment, tell us who is the winner of this conversation.
Oh,
Me!
Put a poll up. Put a poll up.
Put
Go
a
on.
poll.
Can we put a poll up? How does
No,
one?
I don't think this is very advanced.
Plus engage with. Oh, we can.
You can.
Okay.
How do you do it? How do you do that? I can't do it. Oh, okay.
Did Sunny win the conversation?
That's not what I said. I said who is correct
Okay,
about Devlin Mud.
Okay, who is correct about...
No, is Devlin Mud a wash or a paint?
Yeah,
That's what
say
you've
that.
got to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Devlin... Is it with an I?
I
Does
don't
it have an
know.
I in it?
I am just spelling it the way I hear it. I don't know how it's spelled.
I don't know.
Oh.
A
paint things, not spell them.
A paint. So is Devlin Mud a paint? Is that the question?
Wash. Paint or wash.
Or a wash.
Or a
wash.
Okay, and we go... Yes becomes wash. No becomes paint. And we start the poll.
Okay, yes. All right, everybody. Do the work.
You know what to do. You know what to do.
You know what to
All
do.
right, next up, we've got Andy Dickinson.
Andy
so
Dickinson.
it's time for the woman to start reading.
Woman.
Woman.
Weekend painting mixed bag of speed painting. First up are some fell beasts from journeys in Middle Earth.
Do you know why she says it like that? Because for the longest time, it was Journey to the Middle East. and I was just thinking, that's a very different game. You know,
and I said it without
has a different
thinking.
lot of troops in there.
I said it without thinking, right, Rowan? It just came out like that. And I kept reading, and I was like, wait, hold on a second. Did I say Middle East? and that's why I have to catch myself. Because you see, East and Earth both have E and A at the beginning of the spelling as well. So I just went East. Anyhow, let me continue. Followed by some Uruk-hai axe wielders and some human soldiers, also from Journey. Middle Earth, again speed paint for speed. This leaves me with the models left for Journeys, unless they release an expansion, and then a model from Carnival. This is Bringhella. No. Brighella, from the same gang as Sir Yeats Lot. Quite a straightforward paint, but tried to make it vibrant.
So, the one thing that I want to say about these is, Ron, right? Those Weverins, right? You'd think that they'd be really huge, right? But you'd be wrong.
Yeah.
They're like, so they'd be they'd be smaller than like a Tyranid warrior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
I thought wyverns are worm.
It's because of this
like,
board game. The board game, its scale is all whack. So, like, these guys, these guys are like normal miniature size, but I was looking at, what's their mammoth thing called? A
woolly mammoth.
It is not a woolly mammoth. An olifant?
Olifant. Yes, that's what it is. Olifant.
So the olifant, right? I was looking at it and like he had one of the other models in the background, which was like an Uruk-hai, and it was the same height as the olifant, and I'm like, wait up, hold a minute.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So it's a board game for convenience, just to represent a model.
Yeah,
and
that's
not true. And it's not true scale.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to point that out, because you'd be like, Well, they could do this, that, and the other, and I just figured that I'd point that out in case you're thinking of the scale is a bit different. But please give us your commentary.
I mean, if they're only done with speed paints, I mean, I struggled with contrast and speed paints, because I did the old school sort of thing, and I tried thinning them down and washing them through and doing this and doing that, and I just couldn't get a hand on speed paints whatsoever. Until the kids actually showed me how to do it, and they were slapping on models and making it look amazing. I'm like, oh, right, so you just got to throw it at the model pretty much. So you're dipping the model in the contrast, which is fantastic. I mean, you look at the contrast underneath the wings and the dark outlines, and you can see the webbing and the bones and everything like that. That is really nice. And have they gone through and re-highlighted anything, or is that just pure contrast?
As far as I know, just speed paints for these guys, and then so these guys speed paints again. But
Really?
yeah. I'll zoom in. Yep.
Yeah.
Speed paints again.
Is that all speed paint?
Yep.
How good is his brush control?
Oh yeah, no, you got so the reason you can tell he's got decent brush control is look at this green next to white, and you'll see zero spillage.
I was eyeing that off before.
And see, like, no spillage, all just like.
And that's all done with contrast.
No, this one's standard paints.
Okay, because I was going to say that would have bled real bad. You do one tiny slip up on any of those highlights with contrast.
Yeah.
And you'll know about it.
I think that, he's done really well.
That green, I've got to mention that green, that highlight in his shoulders.
Yeah.
I really like I'm an orc painter through and through. And that transition from that dark green to that yellow, chef's kiss.
Yeah, and it's also very hard some of the times when you go like as dark as he has with his cape, because one of the biggest problems I see is a thing I like to call dinosaur
plastic green.
Yeah, dinosaur plastic green. Because often when people go from like the blue to yellow, it has that very sort of plasticky look. But I think this has come out just so beautifully.
But did you notice the second highlight through the bottom of his right where your mouse is, and draw it down? That second highlight with the whites.
Yeah, like I think that the whites need more of a highlight, unfortunately.
Oh no. So he's got his top shoulder, but there's another highlight halfway down the cape.
Yeah.
Through that ripple, and that is really subtle and so nicely done. I mean, you can highlight it a bit more, but I reckon it's perfect because he's focused so much on the shoulders, and it's just let the cape flow so nicely. He's done such a beautiful job on that.
Yeah, no, I'd agree 100% about the cape and such, right? But the thing is, for me, I think one of the big problems people have with white is they go too bright too fast, and I think that was the case with that one.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it looks pretty white.
But the things with white is you've got to know what type of white you want to paint. Do you want a cool white? Do you want a warm white? Are you going to have a true white? How many glazes are you going to do it? It's like yellow and white's the worst colours to paint with.
But so orange is up there too.
No, orange is easy. I can blend orange, no problem. You give me yellow and white, and I'm going to struggle.
I reckon that, like, when you're going for those bright, vibrant oranges, I reckon they're just as bad as the yellows.
Oh, back then, I agree with you, but there are so many different companies coming out with really good, bold, thick oranges now, and the paint quality in the last 5 years has just dramatically increased. And there's been so competitive with contrasts and and different paint companies coming out that those colors that we'd constantly avoid or mess up, they've sort of put a lot of focus in on now as well. So your whites, your reds, your yellows and oranges, all those nice warm tones, where they used to just be really watery and opaque, they're coming out really vibrant and strong now.
I don't
So
think
yeah,
I don't think Red's ever had much of a problem. Like Chimera colors the red, I think just like it is the most vibrant
it's
red I've ever seen. But like
yeah,
you take a look
it's how you tone it though,
yeah, but
isn't
you
it?
take a look at GW's range, right? And I'm almost
Mm.
not kidding with this. Like I'd say a full third of their range is just red. Like if you take a look at it, I'm not even joking. I'm not even
I haven't
joking.
looked. I haven't bought a GW paint for a very long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But see, like, we have to be on top of it because, like, that is what everybody uses. Well, I shouldn't
Oh,
say,
it's not against the product. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
It's about how they deliver it. I'm not buying the pots. Put it in dropper
Right.
bottles, and I'll
yeah.
buy it.
I've said the same thing. I would very much like to have
I'm
dropper
not,
bottles.
I'm not going to be buying. Yeah, I'm not buying 10 paints and then I've got to put them all in dropper bottles because I need to save them. It's just out of convenience. I'm only using so much paint and I don't want to keep flipping a lid up and then knocking over all my washes because I'm clumsy.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because I need to leave it open. I'm going to put it on a pallet.
You
And
know,
yeah, it's
I call Magos purple chaos purple.
Oh, because it always spills.
It got on my cat ears, my cat ear headband that I wear to keep my hair out of my face, and I'm like, how the heck did it get up there? You know? And then it was on my pants somewhere, and I'm just like, how did it get over there?
All right. Well, do you want to read this one? And we will, and I will duck out for like 30 seconds.
Okay. Joseph says, for the first time since possibly New Year's, I actually got a day to paint this weekend. I moved my current project to the finishing touches tray and put 4 new models on my whip tray. I just had the teeth on the belt of Hammer Lady to go, so I brought my other tooth-based outfit model up to and did them both at the same time. I then picked 3 other models to work on because if I'm gonna shade and highlight flesh, I may as well do it on a once. I've made surprising amounts of progress on 4 of them too. I've included a picture of my workflow trays to show my Uber project, 27 Kingdom Death survivors. I'm trying to get them all ready for lanterns and basing all of that together at once, then varnish everyone together. It'll take me longer to get any one thing finished, but it should take less time overall. I'm racing the delivery of Aeon Trespass Wave 2. I think I've plenty of time, but I'm also hoping to be done before the next Kingdom Death box, the Black Knight, arrives, which shouldn't be too long if I can be on top of my collection and ready to deal with stuff as it arrives without ignoring my backlog. That's the dream.
The dream.
The dream.
So
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Like if you're going to be doing all your skins, you're going to have your wet palette, you're going to have your palette out, and you're going to be blending a lot of colors all at once. That's how you do it, because you'll nail one model and then you'll look back at the other models that you've gone and you're going, oh, I need to highlight more. So you have about 3 or 4 models that you're working on. Like I can't batch paint. I can't sit there and paint a whole unit or a whole army at once. I'll pick 3 or 4 models and just do them, and then we'll I'd progress with that. So that's exactly what you're meant to be doing, because then you blend your crew in all the same skin tones, and you've got the same recipe, and you've got the same wet palette. So yeah, that's exactly how you do it.
Well, your thoughts on how he's done? Because I think these ones are finished but yet to be based. Oh, actually, these ones aren't done. So I think it's just these front two.
Yeah, so he's shown us his process in different stages. So yeah.
I think these ones are done. How do you think they're looking?
The green, if he's going for that mute green on the right one,
yeah,
you need to go a little bit darker in the recesses if you want to still keep that green with your army tones. And if you want to go really matte, you need to go layer by layer. So do your base green, then put a matte coat on. Then do your tones, put a matte coat on. Do your highlights, put a matte coat down. And then just matte it all down. And then you'll actually get a really low sheen like cloth with like you're glazing with your with your varnishes as you go through, so it really takes that sheen out, but you're highlighting and low lighting all at the same time.
You know, he can't see you raising your hand, Sonny. Just say what you want to say.
I was just wondering, would it be easier to just sort of mix the varnish in with the paint to create that matte finish, so you don't have to do... Yeah.
You can, but then you're diluting the opacity of the paint, and then you're creating a new product. Okay. And then, like, you can, and 100% you can do it, but you need to play with it, and you might not get the desired effect. Right. And then you've now got a varnished model that, if you have to remove paint, you can hit it with isopropyl alcohol or anything like that. But with the varnish, now that you've mixed it in, it might be a little bit harder to fix up. And plus, if and you're now adding more products. So say you splashed a bit of paint on from painting another panel. Now you've got to go back and refix it, and you've got to pull out your varnish and your paint, and then you have to get the right blend again. So you're adding more to the recipe to fix up a easy mistake, instead of just going, okay, we're going to paint it this and then I can go and matte again. So just trying to keep your steps as simple as possible, but just knowing what steps you take to get to that result.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
All right, we are on to our next one, and this one does not have a long explanation.
It is Robert, and he says, couple of heroes from Tiny Epic Dungeons. Can't wait to do the rest now.
So I do believe, before I let you comment on them, because you can see the hand, I think these are 8 or 10 mil models.
Very tiny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very small. And we've got another member who is Carlos. He's painted the exact same wizard, and he's been doing quite a few at this scale, and he does such wonderful work. But let's talk about what Robert has done so far.
Yep. All right. Would you like to give us your commentary? Because I think this is about as good as we can get them, because there's no background for them, but I'll open them up on separate ones so you can see a bit closer.
Yeah. So purple, just give it, if it's that tiny, edge lighting's your best friend. You can hit your panels with contrast. Contrast would do most of it, and then just edge light it, and then maybe a black line just to separate the panels. And then that's pretty much it.
I think this is the first time I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, because I think the way that he's just done the layers here, like rather than edge highlighting, he's just gotten each of those layers there, I think has really come up quite nicely. But one of the things I wanted to comment on is, look how tiny this book is.
And yeah, I just noticed that. That is fantastic.
Yeah. And
very steady hand.
Yeah.
Very nice. And have you noticed that the runes actually match the same color as the staff?
Oh, yeah.
Like inside the staff.
That's nice. That's a nice little detail.
Yeah, he's blended that across, which is a really good detail for a
Yeah,
wizard to have.
yeah, I
And
would
even
agree.
and has he tried? It might be the lighting, but I think the jewel in his beard might be the same color as well.
I think
So
it's
he's got this.
not, but I think it's in the same hue. So, like,
Hmm,
it's not the same color, but it's like that color but deeper, if you follow what
Oh,
I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So I reckon a little bit of edge lighting, just like shoulder panels, like the trim on the skirt and the robe. Maybe a couple of white little highlights in the beard, and just call it done.
yeah,
But other than that, it's fantastic. It
like,
is really well done, especially that book and that stuff, tying those colors together. You've done well.
yeah,
That's
for
brilliant.
me, I'm like, nah, just leave it. It's fine as it is because of the
Oh,
scale. I look at
100%.
the scale and I just think to myself, nah, stuff that, mate, because I did the Star Wars ones at this scale, and like I think somebody had a go at me about texture or something like that, and I'm like, are you kidding me, mate? Do you know how big these
Yeah.
things are? And
yeah.
it's like,
And
oh,
and
you,
that's the hardest part, because we're critiquing something and we're blowing it so far up,
yeah,
you can
yeah,
pick it
yeah,
apart.
It's
And
kind
when
of
you put it
hard
on
to
a table
appreciate.
and
Yeah.
you're standing 3 feet away,
yeah, yeah,
you
exactly.
can't you can't see that detail. So absolutely, he's done an amazing job.
Yeah, and like the thing I think about is like, what's your goal? And I think this is the one thing that I think people are bad on here, which is like saying what their goal is. Um, because I think if you're just going for tabletop, like these are beyond tabletop. I'd call all of these
Oh.
character level. But I'll let you comment on this, and then Sunny can interrupt you, but she won't. She won't interrupt you, but she'll interrupt me.
Yeah, because I can't see her hand up.
Oh, her hand. I think we need to make a rule to not make Henry laugh.
Oh, okay. All right.
No joy allowed whatsoever.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, once you put these models down on a tabletop and you're a meter and a half, 3 feet, 4 feet away, what colors are you? So minimize the photo for us and zoom out,
Oh,
Um.
yeah,
and then
okay.
you can actually and then you can see what stands out.
Okay. So how do we? How do we? Give me a second. I'll see if we can do the opposite. How does? Here we go. Zoom.
That's too
Yep.
much. Just
Yeah. So you're looking at the model like almost as true scale,
Yeah.
like that. So you know how I was talking about the edge lighting?
Yeah.
When you do the edge lighting, that's all you're going to see to separate the panels.
Mm.
Same with the orb. Like you can't see anything below that star. It's well and good to have it when you're painting it to be up close to your face, but
Mm.
if it doesn't look good far away, and
Mm.
if it doesn't look good up close and it doesn't look good far away, you're losing something there. So
Yeah.
you need something to define your colors and define your palette and define the difference between the two. Because once you start walking away, that blue is going to transition into the wizard's top of purple. So it looks like
Yeah,
it'll look
I think the blue and the purple are different enough that like unless you're very far away.
Well, I can understand what
yeah.
Rowan is saying, because in terms of value, they're not that different.
Yeah.
But yes,
But
I
you
would
lose,
say
but
they
you,
do look different color.
from that photo, look below the orcs
Oh no,
orcs two-handed.
I agree with
Relax.
the I agree with the orc because
Yeah, you can't define anything.
I think that like when we take a look at the orc, right? The orc has a lot of busy work going on.
Yes.
And like
Well, there's three different metals there.
yeah, and like the thing is, when you're at this stage, right, when you're looking here, it looks very nice. I really like it.
It's a well painted model.
But you're right here, but I disagree with the wizard because like you can even see from here, right, that ruffle that he's highlighted up here. Those other ruffles don't come out as much, but that top one, and like that's sort of the way it should be. You're like your top facing your top area, that triangle we were talking about earlier, should be where the focus is. But yeah, you're 100% right on this one. But I'm aware of time because we've been going for an hour and I still think we've got another 20 to go. So
all right, let's go on.
Yeah. Next up, this one's been cooking for a while. So would you like to read out?
Yes, Justin says getting there, still armor highlights to do, base to complete, metallics to glaze and highlight, and a final white touch to the eye lenses. Some weathering possibly, and the Martian weathering powder on the base and feet. Hope you like.
Yeah, and look at that, and he's like, the metal's got a bit extra to do, and I'm like, really? Does it now?
Really? But like, you look at the transition of the reds, like that red that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
Like this, you need a full palette of reds just to blend that. Like, he's going from purple all the way up to yellow there, and it still reads as red, which is really nice. And you can see that he's done it on every single gun. That's why you do it as small batches, like he's done here, so your palette has the same hues on it and the same mixture. But the transitions, the highlights, like, you look at those panels and they're just neat. Like, they're glorious.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, he's been working on this for I think 3-4 weeks now.
Yeah, he takes his.
You can tell the work's been done in it.
Yeah,
and it shows.
Yeah,
it's really nice. And like he said, like what he's working on, like the highlight, like the shaved head that he's got there. Yeah, that is brilliant. That is so nice. He would have spent hours getting that right.
Yeah, he loves technique stipple highlighting. You know that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you'll see that in a minute.
Yeah. And like that's what he's been doing with this. And we've talked about this one before, but I think this one's a really good one to sort of see how things have changed. So you wouldn't have seen it as much, but these looked really badly coffee stained at the start. Down along here, it was like this sort of really bad tide mark kind of thing, right? But slowly over time, he's built that stuff up and that sort of thing. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying, you know, the heavier metal things, right? So I'd say these are like maybe a session or two away from being done, right? Yep. And the thing is, I think with this whole batch that he's done here, right? Imagine if he'd just shown the finished product on heavier metal, right?
100%.
You'd just be like
you get that. Yeah, you get that captain on there. 100%. You put a little bit of you put a nice backlight on. You put it in a nice photo box. You get some of your you just touch up a few of your highlights, like you were saying, and put some pigment on the feet, mate. That's heavy metal material, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
And see, but the point I was getting at is like nobody would have seen that work that's gone into it unless you sort of see this thing, and that's why I really like WAYPN, because like it's not like what have you finished, because so many people just put up, oh, I just finished this, and like unfortunately,
show us your progress.
Yeah,
show us your progress.
And
I have the reverse problem. I only show progress. I never put up any of my finished stuff.
Well, unfortunately, you know, with the local shop, like, I was advised don't put up your progress, because then people sort of think of you less of. That's something that someone said to me, right? And that it's a little disappointing, because, you know, that's how you got to make money and that sort of thing. But let us move on, because I think we've pretty much said everything that we can say. But I think we're going to be pretty quick with this one as well. But the thing is, I love seeing this. I love seeing the next generation get into it. You want to read out?
We got Angela, and she says, "Does it count if I'm helping?"
But
Well,
those are
Yes.
some nice
Yes, it
transitions.
does.
and that's where
You
she was
can't-
helping.
You cannot not learn. Like, the best thing is just have a paintbrush in your hand, and
Yeah.
then you get an idea in your head, and you just make it happen. If it turns out bad, it turns out bad. Learn from it. If it turns out good, you've learned from it. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
This is the best thing that you could do. Oh, that's
No, don't get excited.
Yeah.
Don't get excited just yet.
Yeah.
It was a slip of the thumb.
Yeah, but I have to 100% agree with you, because that was the short video we made when I was really sick. You know, the best skill, the skill that YouTubers can't teach, which is brush control. You know,
Yep.
you can teach it in real life, right? If there's someone there saying you're pressing down too hard, if there's someone there. But so much of, I think a lot of people forget that painting is a physical skill. You can't just learn it by looking at a screen, right?
No.
You got to do it.
You can get. Yeah, I 100% agree. You've got to spend time doing your hobby, doing your art. You've got to do the legwork.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. You can't just put a filter on it and go, yeah, it's done. You've got to do the legwork, and this is where it begins. This is the best thing, is getting a paintbrush in their hand, and you just get them going. And you go, Dad, what can I do next? Or Dad, what can I do this?
Yep. And talking about getting them going, I heard you going a second ago. You want to read it out as we go through it?
Update.
This
from... is Alex. Update and size comparison. This is a mangler squig. Generally, they are a pair on a base. But as I am doing this for competition, I am using only. The squig is about 80% complete, but I also need the 3 goblin riders on his back and 1 rather unfortunate snack. Not to mention the base. I am therefore sorry to say I'll be annoying you all with updates periodically for a while yet.
Alright, so I do believe it's the horn. Sorry, would you call these horns back spikes?
I would say they're
Back spikes.
spikes.
Spines?
Spines.
Yeah, spines. Let's use that one. The spines and the claws aren't done yet, but everything else is. So,
Yeah.
would you like to give us your professional orky opinion?
Mate, I am all about the squigs and the orcs and the gobos. Everyone knows that. It is so good to see something. Like, if you look at that photo and you put that in a magazine, it looks like someone has drawn it.
Yeah.
You've got such thick black lining and the proper contrast. The transition from the blues to the underbelly is brilliant. You can, if you really wanted to saturate it even more, you can use some purples in the low lights. But man, that is brilliant. It is so nice.
And see,
I just can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what type of because it's all stippled.
yeah, it's almost all stippled, yeah. And like, one of the things that I was gonna point out, the thing you were saying before, like it also affects this scale as well, right? If we come in super close to it, right, it doesn't look as professional. But you got to remember, in order to see it like this, you'd basically have to be pressing your eye against the damn model, right?
Yes, you do.
And like, most people are going to see it like that when they're about, 3 to 6 inches away, and that's why I used to call what you're talking about the 3 inches versus the 3 feet rule. And like, that's the thing. In my opinion, usually you have to be painting for one or the other. Like, it's not often that you can like get it good for both. Because I remember one day when I was working for the good old evil empire, I came into the shop and I saw this kid's Minotaur, and I thought it was the greatest painted thing I'd ever seen. And I'm like, do you mind if I take a look closer? And he's like, yeah. And I took a look closer, and it completely broke the illusion, right? It was really thick lines, but when you were looking at it from like 3 feet away, it looks like the most amazing paint job ever. And I definitely think that's one of the things that you got to think about. But, Sonny, do you have anything?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I want to know how long Alex spent painting this, because that is really, really, really well blended. He's thought about his highlights. He's thought about all the palette himself. Like, I want to know how long he spent painting that squig, because that's the comparison as well. How long are you willing to spend time on a model to get it to look good? Like when do you call it quits?
Yes.
What's good enough?
But I think because it's also a competition piece, you've
Yeah.
got the deadline of the competition to work for. But I believe, how do you say, chronologically speaking, probably 3 weeks. Actual hours put in, we are not sure, because like he's probably doing this after work or on the weekends and all that. But we've been seeing posts on this for consistently maybe about 3 weeks now.
Yeah, I think we've been and like so the teeth were black for most of that.
Yeah, like a super dark brown.
Yeah. But I think he pretty much like knocked the blue out of the park right at the start. And I think that's the way it is some of the times. Sonny, would you like to read out the chat before we read out the next one?
The poll.
So we've
got the poll going.
Yeah, remember you were asked for the poll.
Yeah.
The poll has gone up. All right, we will look at the results.
It's 80% your way, okay? You know why? Because I can't vote. I'm not allowed to vote. See,
I voted for myself. Anyway.
You voted for us, Sonny. You voted for us.
Justin, the one that has done the Deathwing army that you love so much, he says, really appreciate the help and advice with these. The squig is just amazing. Love seeing the progress here. Excited to see it complete.
All right, would you like to read out for this one?
Okay, let me go to the... Alex. He is Mr. Justin's competitor when it comes to
he is.
Deathwing.
Because take a look at that while we're talking, Ron. I'm zooming in because look at that.
Look at those crack. Look at that.
It's got the chipping.
Yeah.
And it's got the terracotta warrior look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we said about him the first time.
But quick, you gotta read.
Okay. As a bit of a palette cleanser, in more days than one. Oh, Justin has been tagged. Inspired me. Oh, Justin inspired me to stop dragging my feet on my Terminators. The fact that I also picked up the Deathwing assault box and need to finish the first is completely immaterial to the situation. Justin, comment.
Yeah. So he's done the right thing here, and this is what a lot of people don't do, is that he does a test paint for one model to see how the rest of it goes. So if one model takes you 10 hours and you've got another 6 to do, you're at 60 hours to keep the same standard that you did that first one.
But like everybody has like the average hours of a job to dedicate to like a squad, right, Rowan? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. You do realise I like to play horde armies, yeah?
Yeah. I don't see what the issue is, right?
You've got a squad. I've got 40 boys.
Oh no.
All right. So what's next?
We had to mute ourselves.
Because I'm getting more and more jealous by looking at this man's talent.
Oh yeah, we gotta move on. Gotta move on.
Well, what do you think of all of the cracks and so on? How do you reckon that's come up?
It's bullshit. I wish I could do it.
Oh yes. Oh god no.
All right. Well, I think pretty much we've commented on that Terminator before, but he's just gotten a start on the rest of them.
Oh, just to read, Justin says that Alex is his co-conspirator.
All right.
Okay.
So, and next up, speaking of Alex, we've got more of the Tiddlywinks playing.
Yes, the little ones also wanted to put up their work. The shambling mound was painted by Martin, aged 6, and the lizardman was painted by Ethan, aged 5, with a tiny bit of help from Dad. And Vera, aged 3, painted very orc warrior fresh from her therapeutic mud bath, all by herself.
Yep. But
So the predators. Oh, there's a story. Well, we paint to tell a story.
Yes.
And that orc is getting hunted by the predator.
But no,
And
it's fantastic.
This is where it begins. It doesn't matter how good or how bad it's not about that. It's about just enjoying yourself painting. Like, we could sit here and pick about what you should do, what you can't do, what products and this, that, and the other. It's not about that. It's about this right here. And this is my favorite model of the night, this lizard man.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got so much colors going on. And the best thing is, if you could go back from when you painted your first model and you were so proud of it, you don't ever touch it. You varnish it and you put it in a little sealed container and you write "my first model," and you never touch it again.
I'm actually going to take a step more than that. I'm saying you don't even varnish it. You just stick it in that container, because you don't want, like, there might be some glossiness somewhere where it's not meant to be, or that sort of thing. So yeah, not even the varnish. Just put it in the container. Just put it in the container.
And you leave it there, and then every year you go, this is where I was, and this is where I'm going. And 100%.
That is what this whole thing is about. That's what what are you painting now? WAYPN is about. Because, like, the thing is, I'm not going to be as foolish to say as there isn't, like, definitively good art, but you're not competing against, the top tier artists, right? Those people are competing against the same person you are, which is yourself.
Yep.
You got to compete against yourself, because if you start competing against someone else, it's always a mugs game. If you get better than them, you're going to get an ego, right? You're going to get a massive ego, and you're going to think too highly of yourself until you compare yourself to the next person where you're not as good as them, right? And, like, the thing is, if you compare yourself to somebody who is, like, too high, you're just going to lose all of your passion. If you want to compete with people, go for it, especially in your local area where you guys can chat and talk and, like, compare and have real human interaction. I think interaction is the biggest thing, but that's me. I see that I have sort of taken over, so I will let the rest of you talk for a minute.
Well, it's exactly like that. Like, you can even see that she's thought about the colors. And like, the lizardman she's got all the blues on the underside of the inside of the thighs and the underside of the bellies. The eyes have got the blues. She's even gone as far as highlighting the tassels on the loincloth.
Yeah.
And it's like you can see the development of technique already beginning. And it's brilliant. Like, that's exactly like what you said. It's just do it. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Steal techniques from everyone you ever talk to.
Yeah.
You get criticism. Humble yourself. Move on. Be
Yeah.
proud of what you're painting. It's not gonna if you want to go competitions, 100% go nuts. Like, look at that squig. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
But keep moving forward.
Speaking of keeping moving forward, unless you got something to say,
Yeah,
something?
so I was going to point all those things out. Unfortunately, you've already said it, so I can't say anything else.
Okay. You can have the next one, Sonny.
Oh, I see.
Oh, it's someone who doesn't love us anymore.
No! It's a no!
Oh yeah, because you have a thing for gnomes. No, they call you something gnome. What do they call
The Chaos
The
Gnome.
The Chaos Gnome. Yes.
All right. Do you want to read out the traitor, the person who
traitor.
doesn't? So the reason we say all of this, Ryan, is because when somebody just shares on here and they don't give us any original commentary for here, we get very upset because they obviously don't care about us. That's...
Oh, so you want words. You want
Yes.
words.
Yeah,
Not words.
Yes. It doesn't matter if it's a sentence. Just, you got to say something. All right. You want to read out?
Okay. Very tentative start on the fantastic Amanita Shaman bust from Creepy Tables. Lovely, lovely sculpt and a fantastic cast. Made a start in the skin, just initial undercolor and value sketching, and popped in the eyes because I love painting eyes.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he always shames me.
Well, this is a much larger eye.
It is a larger eye, but it's not that much larger.
Larger than most.
Yeah, but the technique, like he's got the red, he's got the opaque of the white of the eye. He's even gone as like throwing different blends and wet blending through the iris itself.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is the undertones. I want to make sure that everyone understands that using like the greens, like you see those greens in your skin, undertoning with different colors makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone to experiment with different colors. Like my favorite one is I've got poison green from Vallejo, and I'll put a purple wash on it, and it comes out like a pure tan. And it's a really nice like different satchel color, and you'll never pick the two colors.
Yeah.
But this is the same theory.
That's so cool.
But this is how you start skins. You start with your greens and you build up through your reds, and then you go through your purples and everything. Because if you actually put your hand, or if you look at your hand and you actually get the color palette picker, and then you actually select the different colors in your hand, you'll have like 50 different colors. So this is exactly...
Not me,
This is
Rowan.
exactly
You've seen me. I'm as white as a ghost. It just comes up as error.
Rowan, there was one time.
Titanium white.
Yeah, let me get to that comment, because one time when Henry and I were still long distance, he sent me a picture of his arm, and it was so overcast that day that his arm shone white in the picture. And I was like, cloud hand.
That's the thing. Sonny, with all the power outages we're gonna have, you could just crack him and use him as a glow.
Oh yeah, I'll just
Don't give her ideas.
Shake him up like a glow stick.
All right, we're moving on. There needs to be more commentary. Oh no!
Who's this?
All right.
Next.
Another one.
Yeah.
This is the
selfish.
one. Oh, what
This
the?
is
No,
your
don't do
entry.
this. Why is it do this? Come on. I wanted to read, but it did not.
I can read it.
Okay, you read while I recover.
I will do the
Oh
voice.
I have to read because it's my one, don't I?
Yes, but you said it's stuffed up.
Yes, well we can see that. All right, here I press see more and it will crash the computer. All right. So the competition is Finally. Now we can share our photos. We were given a palette that we had to strictly conform to, with the exception of hair and skin. Quite generous, being given as one of the things we could do. So this is meant to be showcase level, as it is for a competition. But for those of you who remember, I was very sick at this time. Twisted even. So, I pushed myself, but I had limited time, and I was very sick. So I think be harsh. However, I will not take it as harshly, because I wasn't at my peak. But feel free, tear into me. I hope you enjoy my competition piece. My colors: dark pink, light pink, light blue. Alright, everyone. Keep those brushes wet.
Ta-da!
You got it easy.
I got it
so easy. You got it easy.
Oh, we both got the good colors. I will agree.
I was very happy with my my palette. I was just like, and you know what's funny? Is my palette almost matches my card.
Oh yeah, we are blue and pink mostly. The Galadors and the WAYPN.
So just tell me when to stop so you can rip into me.
I don't want to. Like, they're so pretty, and knowing that we actually went into the same competition.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair for me to rip into you looking at your little pretty elves, and then you see my gobos and I didn't paint them at all.
Well, Rowan,
It-
Rowan did not
What?
make his own post. In fact, he
On the competition piece, but he did put a post.
yes, he didn't make a post. He made a comment.
A commentary? No, no.
Yes.
No.
So
this is
we
gonna
will let that load.
I can look at
But
it.
while we're waiting for that to load,
But
tell us
talk
what you think.
about you probably want to talk about color
I knew
theory
it.
here.
I knew
Because
that was
this
you. I found the picture.
Because color theory is your best pal here, especially with your really high elves and really pretty pinks and blues and stuff like that. Your color theory is what you're going to be wanting to use here, especially with the colors that you picked.
I did not
And
pick them. I was given them,
Well-
good sir.
oh, okay. Do we want to compare the colors that we got each?
Yeah,
I think
sure.
you
All
got
right,
it.
we'll
I think you got it
compare.
easy. I think you got it easy.
Orange and purple are easy colors to match.
I had dark yellow, dark red, and light purple.
Yeah. I'd
Okay,
actually.
dark yellow is a bit difficult because, like, most times dark yellow just becomes like a green.
Or brown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but look, I actually spent more time actually doing the terrain than I did on the models.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do a negative OSL. I wanted to do double OSL and a negative model. So none of those models actually had any paint on them. They're just literally black, grey dry brush, a little bit of white there, and then I only use white, black, light purple, yellow, and red. And that's the only colors I used.
See, I think, like, I honestly think that unfortunately a lot of what determined votes was, did you notice that all of the people who placed were actually at the top of the cabinet?
I couldn't care about that.
Yeah, no,
Like,
but
no.
what I'm saying is, right, I think that was a major factor. Like, you got to have like that space sort of thing.
I don't. I every time I went into the store, that it would actually be constantly rotated. To be honest.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah, because
yeah,
like
so-
we would see some of the really good models, but they were on the lower shelves
No,
and you can't really
I had to go,
appreciate it with the lighting not reaching
no,
it.
I had to go looking for mine because it kept moving.
Yeah, see,
So,
like
But
so
yeah,
yeah,
like
but
I
back to yours. Like yours has got color theory. Mine I wanted to do OSL, so I wanted to focus on that. But this is where color theory really fits into this.
yeah.
And if you're going to start, once you've got brush control and you're starting to think about armies and you're starting to think about paints and you really want to start testing yourself, really start thinking about color theory and dive really deep into it. Go to a shelf, close your eyes and pick a random color, then pick the absolute opposite to that color and then do an army in those, and you'll learn so much more having no control over the colors that you pick, learning from that, than if you actually had to pick your own colors.
right.
Yeah, I think also the other thing is you've got to start becoming creative. So like one of the things, I'm not sure if you picked up on it, right? But did you notice that all of the bows and the arrows were actually pink, but were actually pink, but they were a brown. So like they've got a brown that goes into a pink, if you follow what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah. And like that's one of the things that you got to think about,
Learn.
like
Yeah.
how are you going to use those colors rather
Yeah.
than like just thinking about it. This is a light blue, and like you've also got to think where can you push, where can you gotta explore your bounds. But
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing, like, it's when you're so limited with a palette, you have to get so much more creative,
yeah,
and that's when true skill actually comes from. And if you try to push yourself learning how to blend new colors and limiting yourself, if you've got every tool, you can build yourself a house, but if you've got a hammer, best of luck.
yeah,
Mm.
yep. Well, you've also got to take a look at the back of that hammer. Like, at least do that much. At least take a look at your other side. Even a hammer has different options.
Yeah, and that's what this competition was about. It was about limiting the the people that actually could go full scale on it,
Mm.
and then just didn't. And they were limited by so much. So I've never done a double OSL, and I learned a lot from it because I've never painted those crystals before. So I'm
Mm.
like, oh, okay, I'll learn how to paint crystals. But it's where I place them in the cavern. You can't actually see any of the purple on any of the models
Mm. Yeah.
because they're all on the back. They're all on the back wall.
Right.
So I've
What about
completely
what about right here? Is that I thought that's
yeah
purple
yeah.
on that guy.
Yeah, that's the only one. All the rest of them actually have the purples done on their back half as well, and the purples actually look better than the glowing orange.
Yeah, yeah.
But because the way that they're facing in their little terrain, you can't see it.
Hmm.
So it's also the story that I told. They're walking through the cavern, and yeah, that's where the crystals are. But in a painting competition, it really did screw me because I didn't have any crystals showing the purple on the model.
I don't know. I thought it was nice. Like it was one of the ones that I liked because there was some that were painted really, really well. Like I remember there was one where it's the golem fella, right?
Yeah, the white and orange one.
No, so that
Is
one
that
I
it?
thought was done very well, right? That was one of the ones that I was like really like that's amazingly done. No, what I'm talking about is there was one which was painted beautifully, right? But I didn't feel like he actually held to the spirit of the competition because like do you remember the one where the golem was grey?
Uh, No, I can't picture it right now. If I saw it, I knew exactly what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
no, I can't
No,
quite
so
picture it.
there was that one, and it was painted beautifully, right? But you're right. You've got to keep to that spirit of the competition. Like I was looking at it, and like the painting, the highlighting, everything was spot on, but it wasn't anything like that. But anyway, I think we've spent enough time on my and your ones. It's time for Sunny to speak up and speak on her one.
So, a bit late to the game to finally post a secret project. This was my competition entry. I entered under the advanced category. This is my first competition piece. Colors given for this piece were light brown, light pink, and light yellow, but we are free to use tones. What else did I?
Yeah.
My mouse is
If we
acting up.
want to complain about colours, I think Sunny got the short end of
No,
the stick
I
compared
didn't think
to us.
so. I didn't think so at all. Like brown is close to orange, which works well with pink and yellow, because it's like pretty much in the same color family, more or less. Like they're all warmish tones.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I started to want to. Once I understood the rules a bit more, it was more like experimenting between cold yellows mixed with a warm pink, or a cold pink mixed with a warm yellow, and that's how I came up with like maybe a very pink and nude looking one, and then a nice vibrant one, and a very bright looking one, and I thought that was quite nice. But I thought the colors that I got wasn't actually.
Well,
But it was the
yeah,
it
you
was
go.
the if you go back and you did all your test palettes and everything that you did
Yeah.
for the competition, that's exactly what you meant to do.
Yeah.
Like I got a wet palette and I blended all my colors together just to see what I could come up like that
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
And you write down, right, okay, it's a drop of this, it's mixed with this. It's exactly like what you've done. I did exactly the same thing and I came up with browns, and I could have gone further and pushed the limit. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun, and it was sort of subtracting from what I wanted to do with the models. But you did exactly what I should have done. Like the way that you blended your models, you got those browns, you got those yellows, you got those pinks, just such real nice tones that normally you wouldn't paint with, that you blended perfectly in together. Like that top armor, you look at that yellow, that is brilliant.
And see, this is what I was talking about with the lighting. So you actually set up a diorama for your Vox, right? But with this, the way that he's recessed in the box, you don't actually see much of this at all. And
Yeah,
like that's what I'm talking about. Like that's why I think like the golem ones stood out for me, because I think they sort of had the right amount of facing. But I think the one
yeah,
I ended up voting for was I think they had the same colors as me. They were that guy who, or whoever it was, who entered into the like put into the wrong competition or something. You
Oh
know,
yeah, he
yeah,
put it into the wrong category.
yeah, and it had to be switched around. Like that was the one I liked. But I think we've spent enough time on ourselves once again, so I think it's time for us to move on. Would you like to read out the next one?
Okay. Marcel says, after a few months without painting, I finally started again. Whip for a 5 brothers strong squad intercessor, just decals and base design, and finished.
Oh, okay, so he's going for real rough and ready. All right, Rowan, give us your thoughts.
brush control here. This is pretty much brush control. He's getting back into it, and this is what we all stumble with.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if you've done 15 years and you've done a hiatus. It's not like riding a bike. You've got to sort of start again, and you've got to pick it up, and then you've got to reteach yourself the same techniques over and over again. Like, you can still see the whites in the jetpacks behind and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
learning what you've got to paint first, if you're putting your models together first, what you've got to paint to reach so you don't splash other colors on. You can hide it with washes and stuff like that.
Well,
But it, like again, you just spend time with a brush in your hand, and you get better.
I
You just
I'll actually disagree with one part, which is washes aren't always the magic solution, because I think that's what went wrong with the whites here. Um, I think that
you
he
can't wash
used
away.
I think he used a black wash. There is a really good new white wash, but it's called, I think, Soul Blight Grey. Um
Oh
and
yeah,
and I've
yeah.
tried that one out one time. And if you want to just do the quick and easy thing, use that. Like, black washes are always going to get you into trouble with white armor. Like, even if you're using what's it called, oil washes, and you're subtracting with the makeup brush and with the methylated spirits and all of the tricks, it's still going to be trouble. So that's all that I
And he
really.
did,
Yeah.
and he didn't pick the best colors to come back with. Like, he's got
Yeah.
reds and white straight off the bat. So reds is one of those colors that you can't just add black and white to. You add white to red, you end up with pink.
Yeah.
So you've got to learn your hues of each individual color. And so reds, you've got to dull down to like a brown or a purple, and then highlight maybe up to a yellow, but only use it sparingly, because if you add too much, it turns out orange.
Yeah,
And whites again.
I would agree
Are
with
just a
that.
pain in the ass.
I wouldn't even go to a yellow. I'd only ever go to like an orange. But like, for me, I've stopped pushing to orange as much with them, because I've got that Chimera color red, and it's just so bright. That's sort of almost always now my final highlight, because it's just so vibrant, and it is just red, and it's just so
Yeah.
popping. But I think that's pretty much that one. And I think, like, here's the thing. It's good that you're getting back to it. You just gotta, keep foot slogging, like Rowan said. You can't just.
100%.
Oh,
100%.
and
Just
here's. Yeah, sorry, go.
Yeah, 100%. Just learn from your mistakes, take your victories as well. So go, I am proud of this, and don't touch them. Don't touch them again. Unless you are redoing a whole army again and you do need to repatch them and stuff like that. But just leave them the way that they are, so you know where you've come from, so
Yeah.
you know where you're going next.
Yeah, for sure. So this was our video last week, getting your other half into the hobby. You might recognize the characters there. But yeah, it didn't do the best this time round, but I think it had some decent tips. But here's me going spastic again. So all right. I shall read again, because Rowan, honestly, this is the most fun I have had hobbying in a long time. Like,
That's good.
Yeah,
Enjoy it.
it was just conversions and just tinkering and stuff. But I'll read out the stuff, and then you can take a look. Hey all, this is my next project. Generic Stargrave crew. So these guys will be for anyone who want to play Stargrave. There is 2 of every single crew member type. I need to print up some dogs, because who doesn't love dogs? I may have had quite a few different dogs on a sliced plate right now. Anyway, yeah, I split 4 boxes with a friend, so I bought 2, he bought 2, and we swapped 2 sprues of each for the Stargrave crew. Crew 2, females. Mercenaries 2, females. And I made them for the other parts from Anvil Industry. A really old box of minis. I found out where they're from. They're called Max Minis, and they're from Europe. I think I got them in like some eBay auction years ago. And War Games Atlantic's Aliens Heads. And like, Rowan, if you want Aliens Heads, War Games Atlantic, they've got like 30 for $5 with an STL. They're just
that's good.
That's brilliant. Like you'll see them and they're brilliant. Anyway, yeah, I wanted them all to look unique yet generic. But I do have plans to make more because you can have Robot Crew. But I will try not to go overboard. Yes, this is me not going overboard. So what new projects are you guys doing now? I'd love to see. Oh, and one quick postscript thing. I'm really in love with the kit bashing. I pretty much said all of that. So yeah, I just really enjoyed making all of these guys, and like it's just the start of a project, but you'll see like I really liked making these sorts of people, the people who weren't just I'm a soldier dude, you know, the hackers and that sort of stuff. But we'll get your thoughts and then we will move on.
Kit bashing is another part of kit bashing is like, that I love to kit bash. And I find that more fun than painting because you're bringing personality into a model that you're taking pride in. Like, you get to create something from the outside of the box.
Yeah.
So learning to kit bash, like learning how to use green stuff and milliput and everything like that. It's another skill yet again. Like, anyone that's played with green stuff before knows how fiddly it can be.
Oh yeah.
And then yeah, and so learning to kit bash and learning how to modify models to give it more personality or a different shape, or even just swapping out an arm, I highly suggest everyone to do it. And
yeah, have some fun with it.
Have fun with it, because that's what I always say is, it's always the rule of cool. If you're getting into a new game, doesn't matter which side has the best, like, don't go the whole power game.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with you there, because like
pick the models that sing to you, and you'll actually enjoy the game more.
Yeah, like I 100% agree with you. That's why, like, so I sort of made it as if everybody were like couples here, sort of thing, right? And like, that's why the mechanic has to be, you know, the Asian girl, and the mechanic has to be the Asian girl, and the hacker has to be the mutton chop, you know, red cap wearing guy, right? Because they've got to be the opposite ends of the personality, right? Because you can't you just want to have those little bits of story. And I mean, like, these guys, like TikTok star and guitar man, you know, like they shouldn't be anywhere.
Who doesn't want a selfie in space?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think like that's the stuff that really just it sort of gets you going. But we'll move on, and you want to read out for Cal?
Did some Dungeons and Lasers trees along with a demon skull.
And it is exactly what he said it is. Some trees and a skull.
What do we think?
Where are those trees from?
Dungeons and Lasers.
Dungeons and Lasers, they're very nice. They look very good in a graveyard.
Yeah, you know, Dungeons and Lasers is probably my favorite terrain people, full stop. They've just made some of the best terrain in a long while that I've ever seen. It's more like classic Games Workshop. Like,
yeah,
it's got the right amount of detail, not too much, not too little. You know, but
that's what you want from your terrain, though. You don't want your terrain to take away from the models. Like, if you're spending, 80 hours putting so much detail into terrain, then what's and then you throw up some plastic models that have only just been base coated. You're like, it doesn't
Yeah,
really have the
I
same
I wouldn't
like
have
feel.
I wouldn't have spent 80 hours on a terrain project, not 3 boxes of the Into the
Gallo
Dark
Dark.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, it's more of me here. So basically, it's those same guys from before, except I got some paint on them, and I did a Zenithal Prime on all of them, and then I tried out an oil wash, and Sunny forbade it. She said no, too
I
dark.
feel like it doesn't make any sense. It's like trying to zenithal over a zenithal, and it is quite dark, and I don't quite like doing oil washes because it does create pooling and
Well, no, like, where's the pooling on this guy?
not these guys, but like when I double checked your models the other day, I did.
Are you
see
talking
some-
about the dogs?
You've been
Yes.
called out.
Yeah,
You've
no,
been
it's
called out.
I think
Ah,
that
it's because of the dogs.
the dogs, and it was just it's because of the black. It's just too harsh in the shadows, and
Do you
like
think
the,
if it was a grey, it wouldn't have been
I think
as
if
bad?
it was a dark gray, it might work out better. But
In saying that, if you are starting out and you're having trouble picking out details in models, base coat them in white and give them a black wash, because then
Yeah.
you'll actually have all the details because you can see the ones on the left are more refined than the ones on the right.
Yeah.
Even though they're different models, you can still see, like, you can put the ones on the left like that, you could see that they've actually got a decent amount of shadow and everything. So if you're having trouble picking out details, like I still do it now, if I get a model that I'm not familiar with, I'll base coat it in white and just give it a black wash,
And
that will accentuate the shadows and everything like that, and it'll give me a decent palette, decent sort of canvas to work with.
yeah, I 100% agree. And see, that was one of the reasons. So I didn't read it out, but basically the reason why I did this is because these are meant to be generic guys, and I have a very, very bad habit, which is I spend too much time on models. So
I know that feeling.
yeah,
I know
no,
that.
yeah, it's the painter's curse. But like
Yeah.
the thing with it is, right, like that's why I wanted to just zenithal these guys and then put a varnish on them, and then like, all right, it's contrast time, instead of like going crazy with
Yeah.
it. And that's
Well,
why I wanted to see whether I could do the oil wash for the secondary reason. And the secondary reason is, you might not know this, but when you do the oil wash, you know how you wipe the oil wash away with the
hot Q-tip, yep.
yeah. Well, I'm using the makeup
Yeah.
thingies, right? But when you do that, what it does is it'll take some of that varnish away. So when you put a contrast paint on it, that contrast paint will stick to the higher areas more, giving more color to those areas.
Ah.
You know,
If you're gonna,
because of
what you can do,
surface tension.
yeah, because you can get past that by putting a medium on it as well. Sorry, a varnish on it.
Yeah, no,
So
that's what
if
I'm
you-
saying. If you put the
Yeah.
so I've got a varnish on these ones, right? But after that, and like then you wipe it with the Q-tip. See, that wiping is the big thing. The wiping
Yeah.
is what allows the contrast to stick more, because
Yep.
you've actually essentially removed the varnish. Well, you haven't completely removed it, but you follow what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
quickly read out what Alex has said about a thing that you said, Rowan. It's bullshit, and I wish I could do it. That is pretty much up there with one of the best compliments I've had so far.
Well, it's true. I mean, if I had the time and the patience to do something like that, 100% I would, and my hat is off to anyone that has the time and the patience to do that. I just am not that person, so I try and find the quickest, cheapest, easiest way, and I still spend 80 hours on a model because I'm not happy with it.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, I know 100% what you're saying, but I'm becoming aware of time once again, so we're going to move on.
Yeah, we've got Justin, and he says, Deathwing update. You're all sick of Deathwing, I'm sure. Started the black highlights, need to mute them down with the glaze, though. Less is more. Green is done. Faces are dry brushed.
Oh, yeah,
Bolters,
look at that green. Sorry.
Yeah. Bolters to finish, metal work and scrolls to do, and that final armor highlight. Then transfers red mass weathering powder, which will hopefully bring the bases together. A little on the legs, finish with black around the edges of the base to neaten up. And I think I'll have them done by Friday. Thanks for looking.
But you know what I really love about all of this? Is Alex commenting on Justin's stuff and Justin commenting on Alex's stuff.
Co-conspirator attack.
But that's good. That's
exactly
what you should have.
Yeah,
Having your mate getting in and just going, hey, you know what you should have done? Or you just get a compliment, like just go, yeah, that looks like shit. I should have done this. But by the way, I really like it. When you go to sell that, can I be the first ones to buy it?
I'm collapsing here.
But it's true. Like, you constantly at each other to push one another. In this,
100%. And
as long as you don't have ego and you're always open for criticism, you'll never have a problem.
And I reckon that these guys' models would have been so much better for that. And I think that the other thing is the key thing that we talk about a lot, but often when it comes to things like this, we don't acknowledge. I bet it has ramped up their motivation like 110%, because they're like, oh, Justin put up this piece, and it's like, damn that Justin. All right, I've got to do my thing. And then, Justin's there, damn that Alex. All right, now I've got to do my thing.
Yeah.
And, you get...
The best part... the best part about it is because they've gone for the very similar color palette. When they verse off on the table, they're going to get confused, and there's going to be friendly fire.
Well, I think that they're a continent away.
The armor and that one skull head, one skin head.
Yes. But I really love how that green's come up, because that's the big difference. Like, I'm in two minds about the scrolls, because, like, you got to have a different color.
Nah, because it's below the waist. Think of your triangle. Once you zoom, because we're zoomed in, once you zoom out, you're not even going to notice it.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm in two minds about the scroll, because, like, I feel like it could be, the more standard
white and red.
Well, no, it could be more the standard, like, parchment colors of, like, that bone color, but then it would just blend in. So, like, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's why he's gone for that color.
Yeah.
So it actually, so you got that contrast.
Yeah,
I 100%. I reckon he's made the right choice. 100% he's made the right choice.
Yeah,
if you were to throw the white on that, it'd pull away from the model. It'd look out of place. That's why I think he's gone with the dark, and I reckon he's made the right choice, because it's not drawing your eye down to that kneecap away from the nicely, freshly shaved skull.
Yes, this is true. We want to focus on the bald head.
Because I just want to make sure that everyone knows how hard that is.
Oh yeah,
definitely. When I saw it, I was like, a photo pasted on a model of some bald guy.
Yeah. But
All right, Alex, it's your turn next, mate.
Yeah,
I want to see that freshly shaved skull.
All right. Don't. We might start a trend that we might not have intended to, but
it's the battle of the bros.
Alex with the freshly shaved skull thing is what I was talking about.
Okay.
All right. Well, you want to read this one out?
Our local celebrity, Will Smith.
Oh, do you know that we have Will Smith on WAYPN?
Do we?
Yep, Will Smith. Look, this is the work of Will Smith.
I just realised that.
But yeah.
That's all right. As long as you don't invite Chris Rock, we'll be right. All right. So we got another. Oh, what is with the color palette tonight? You got pinks, you got golds, and you got blues. Like, is it? Did I miss the memo? Like, am I
did I not
behind
send you the memo?
kids?
I thought I sent it.
But
Would you like to
but
read
this
it?
is really good because gold, like true gold, is a bitch to paint.
Oh,
Trying to get a pink to work is a bitch to paint. And blues have so many tones in it that if you mess up a little bit and you've got it in an army, you'll notice it straight away.
Yeah.
So everyone picking these sort of palettes is awesome. And especially with the little highlights of orange as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly read what Will has said in his caption.
Yes, celebrity Will Smith.
Yes, Will says, I wanted to get a few more layers on the acolytes, but I guess that's why it's called Work in Progress Wednesday and not totally, completely finished Wednesday. Super happy with how they're shaping up. Vallejo metallics are working wonders, if I do say so. Okay, now you can continue the story.
I have to say... Yeah, you go, sorry.
Sorry, I just noticed something. If you go back one photo where they're actually all facing backwards,
Yep.
Notice how dark the recesses in the orange are.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, but go over with like a red glaze or like a darker orange or something because that's too much contrast. You need to throw something else in there, like just grab your base orange that you painted with and throw some red just over that brown.
Yeah,
and they'll fix that problem. But that was just something I noticed just then.
Well, I think like what I'm really impressed by is the coverage of those metallics.
Oh, 100%. Those golds are so bright.
Yeah. And I have to say
that's three layers of gold, easy.
No, it's only one because I've actually talked to Will, and that's just how good the Vallejo paints are.
Really? That gold?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to put that on the shopping list.
Yeah.
Has he done the scroll? Go back that one.
Yeah, he's so the scroll is, I think has he done it upside down?
No, there is a recess.
Yeah, there is a recess in the scroll, but it, like, this, in my opinion, is how Games Workshop should make models, right? You make models so that people feel clever when they paint them, right?
Oh, did he paint that in?
No, so it's recessed, but he did paint in the, like, colours and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because I've got one of these ones, and I've got, like, a rainbow transition with it, and, like, I reckon that recessed stuff like this is so fantastic. I think have an option to have a blank scroll, sure, right? Have an option to have a blank scroll, but just imagine, like, your daughter, you know, whoever it is, right? You're getting somebody into the hobby, and they put a wash over this, and how clever do they feel?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And see, like, that's why I'm sort of upset at GW more recently with the detail creep, because they don't do things like this where, you know, you feel clever doing it. They do more things like where I'm not sure if I've shown you the aforementioned
what they're doing with the detail creep is, like, you got different like, I would still reckon Malifaux still has some of the best 3D on sprue, And some of those models are nigh on impossible to get put together because of the detail. Like Yanlo's beard in second gen was just
Oh well.
nigh on impossible. He's got a Fu Manchu that you got to glue on that was separately.
Oh my
And
god.
these
But
guys and these guys can't even do detailed recesses in scrolls. I mean, at least give them decals or something.
yeah. But like the thing I was gonna say is right. Like I'm not sure if I showed you the Into the Dark one. Where it's just meant to be cover, right? It's literally just meant to be cover, and what it is there's 8 skulls with like each of them have 3 to 5 wires popping in and out of them, and that's one half of that wall. And I'm just like, who has time for this? Who has time for this? If I wasn't commissioned by this, I'd throw this thing at the wall.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's time. It's time for us to move on because we, and could you read this one out for us?
James says, my whip for Wednesday this week I worked on Magneto and Psylocke, zombie from Marvel Zombies game. I added some reference pictures because it's a lot of purple and wanted people to know what I was aiming for. I have a great time painting both of them for my enjoyment, but do I need more highlighting or have done enough? I feel like I can do just a little more to make.
Okay. Can I jump in here?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
When you're painting comic book guys, you can actually go really thick on your black edge lining because you want to make it look more comical. You can actually make it look more comical by giving it like thicker black edge lining. Like you look at the comics here, look at every individual panel. It's drawn in between everything. There's a black line. So if you want to be more true to the art, just throw a black line in between the reds and the purples, and you'll actually get a better looking finished model. As far as the zombie, throw her skin's actually done really well for a normal person. Throw like some light greens in there, and you'll make it look a little bit more rotten.
I think I know what he's going for here, right? And like I'm 6 one way, half a dozen the other, right? Because green's going to complement the purple, obviously, but the
No, just like a glaze.
yeah,
Just to knock back
I
the
understand. I understand what you're saying, right? But like, I'm just like, I know James's sort of skill level at the moment, and I'm just worried that he's gonna stuff up what he's already done. I agree with you about the black lining, but I think that the big thing that I look at with some of these guys is I think he's got something like 150 miniatures to do for this
Oh, right.
for this board game. And so like that's why I said at the start, you know, like we try and match our advice to the
Yeah.
person's goals. And so like
Okay, so you're not going character level. You're going
Yeah.
to go with, then it's perfect.
Yeah.
If you've got 150 miniatures, put a varnish on it and move on.
and see, but I do
They're
think
done. They're done, brother. They are done.
I do think that you're right about the black lining with these guys, but I think so. So you are right, but I'm in two minds about giving the following the advice because he's using these models to sort of like level up his painting. So
Okay, well then go back to what you were saying before. You know, your so paint them white, put a black wash on first.
yeah,
Pull out those details, then paint the panels in. That black wash underneath will actually act as a guide and
Yeah.
it will show through those models.
Yeah.
And then you can cheat. So you just do one before the other and then you can just cheat it.
yeah. I would completely agree with that bit of advice, but I'm going to say try out the black lining and see how you go with it because I reckon that you've got the brush control to do it, but
You need a brush. You need a long, thin brush that doesn't have a lot, and try you painting with inks. So get like a black contrast or something, or a
The
real
black
black
contrast
wash.
you've got to thin down, because believe it or not, the black contrast paint is actually blacker than their black paint.
Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, but you're only applying just so much in between the panels.
Yeah, no, I say it
and
for I know what you're saying. I say it for a
Mm.
reason, because like I know that black Templar contrast paint is like, it's notorious. I use it myself, and I've seen inks that are less powerful than it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so you're spot on, but yeah.
Well, let's move on to Lance.
Yep.
And he's got something to say. A labor of love and nostalgia. Originally started painting them in the early 1980s.
Wow.
Finished a couple of spots and touched up their bits. Based extract from wonderful sculpts. Enjoy.
Old metal minis. It just has character to them. Like
Yeah, they do.
Their sculpts were derpy, but the amount of detail that they put into those pewter models, you just can't replace with plastics.
Oh, I think like some. Do you remember when they sort of went, like they were using the exact same methods for making the plastics as they were the pewters?
Yeah.
Like, then I think you can get in plastic, but like the old orcs, the old Imperials, like they're like that. But yeah, I have to agree with you, because like,
But like they like, it depends on how far you want to push this.
yeah,
See, I'd normally use these colors as my base and highlight off of those. Like, the washes are done, everything's like that. I mean, with all the ruffles and stuff, it depends on how showy you want to go. Yet again, if you're going with tabletop, they're done.
yes,
But if you want to go super highlighty, then you just go with the next hue up on the reds and the blues and the whites and everything like that, and you just go nuts. And so yeah, if you're going for tabletop, but if you think about these type of miniatures back in those type of times, all those colors were muted, so it actually suits the time and the era that
Are you
these would be
talking
played.
about medieval times? Actually, that's one bit where you're wrong. Like, medieval times, all those colors were super bright.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
Because
it's because of movies that you sort of have that false perception. I've looked into this, like, because there's this whole thing, like, essentially because they didn't have the things that we have today, right? They tried to sort of up their level of expression. So, the reason why they had such bright colors was because, like, that was their own personal art, if that makes sense.
yeah, okay.
Right. So shall we?
So yeah, well,
Yeah, well,
if you wanted to, then you can push it up another hue, and if you really wanted to, so find the next layer of green, that's the next hue up from those, and go from there.
Right.
yeah.
Well, let's move on to another one that Lance has done. Simple dry brushing on the water, weird from WizKids. Same came clear, so it just needed some highlights. A quick one to keep my pile of shame down a bit.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, there's not much to say here. He's just basically painted in the eyes and the tongue thing, and like, and he's
Any paint that you add to this will take away from the translucency.
exactly,
Yes,
exactly, and like,
so you got to think of the model.
and see, I think that's one of the things that we got to remember. Just like, don't fight your model.
No, don't. I reckon he's done a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we've got Paul E. Wog. Whip Wednesday, couple more highlights and touch-ups to go, but here is my second mini 2024. And while I am on course for 12 a year, that would be a very fast for my usual painting standard. Vainly tries to ignore the hill o' grey by the paint table.
Yeah.
This is the Dwarven Berserker from Strata Miniatures, a Dungeons and Diversity lineup. Thin Lyrics Primer.
Let's just go to it because unfortunately time is very much against us.
Yeah.
You got anything that you want to add with this one?
Probably just the washes in the arms are a bit dark,
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing.
but
I actually
everything
thought they
else,
were
like
tattoos.
the washes in the arms are too dark, so
Right.
probably thin your wash. Camo pants are on point. Everything about the model is pretty much on point. Maybe the fire reversing the yellow and the red.
Oh yeah, I follow what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I think like some of the times, that whole
Yeah.
art is never finished. Some of the times,
Yeah.
like if he's like just trying to get models done, I would probably call it here after
But, I mean,
doing
yeah.
skin highlights and fixing
But
up that
the-
shadow.
Yeah, but that shadow there, I mean, remember we're looking at it zoomed in. You put it on a tabletop, it's going to look fantastic.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll be very quick, and we'll
And
take
who doesn't love an axe wielding dwarf in a wheelchair?
probably the priesthood, but yeah, I guess. But see, even this far back, we can notice just how thick those ones are. So
Yeah.
I think it might be the case of that needs to be fixed up. But we are
Alright.
moving on
To
to
Jason.
Jason.
This week's whip. Just more progress on the Hunter Warband. Still more detailing and refining to go. Once these 3 are finished, there's 4 more human hacker doggos. Edit. Apologies for the double post. Facebook acted all stupid and didn't show that this had posted. Something it often does. It's true.
Yeah.
So I posted again, at which point they both suddenly appeared. Yep.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
Facebook being a SOB, yes, we are well familiar. All right, Ron, your thoughts?
Bold colors, use
Yeah.
again. I mean, depends on how far you want to push it. It's just one of those things. The eyes, probably Google how to paint YouTube. There's so many YouTube different aspects of how to paint eyes. Like that one on the right, he's nailed, but the one on the left, they're sort of staring off to 2 different trees.
Yeah, I actually think that the eyes are
But
pretty decent. Like, I wouldn't be upset with these eyes.
I'm not upset. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
no,
want
no.
to practice them,
Yeah.
definitely. But it depends on how far you want to push these models. If you want tabletop, you've got tabletop. If you want to go with more highlights, yeah, just learn to push your reds and your blues a little bit. And if they're going to be hunters and they're going to be sort of like be stealthy, bright colors aren't going to be their thing. So think about your color palette.
Oh yeah, so
So maybe
the reason
the
he
blues.
chose his color palette is because it's based off a movie. Like there was another post last week, but we will move on rather than explaining it to death.
Yeah.
This one's quite an
Holy
interesting
cow.
one. So Justin Taylor. Some work in progress shots of a bust I've been working on. I'm painting her to look like a siren from the horse. I am so confused how you move from pure black and white to gray zenithal,
Yeah.
and then there is 0 loss in the white. Like, don't tell me he went and masked all those recesses, because how the hell is this done?
It's practice. Unfortunately, there's no easy answer for that one. When working from black to white and using grays in between, it is all practice. There
Ron,
is
don't
no
lie.
easy-
It's voodoo magic.
It's zenithal. Like, an airbrush is involved. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's voodoo
Yeah.
magic, and we're just going to say, voodoo magic is not allowed, Justin. stop
is a
being so
very
talented.
yeah, it is very nicely done.
It is. It is. Like, I'm so interested, especially those like bright cyan runes.
Yep.
Andy says, couple of hours painting. Most of the time was spent on ice or rock things on the hammer, which I think are getting there. Usual thing of needing to push contrast a bit more and on the face as well, so I can focus on that when I.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll throw to you, Rowan.
I just learned how to paint crystals. You have to reverse everything. So you put your blacks right up the top to the whites down the bottom, and then contrast over the top.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can't think of them as normal because of the way they refract light.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So,
Yeah.
so if you're going with ice, this is sort of what you want to be doing. But if you're going with crystals, it has to be reversed.
I think it is ice because it's one of those World of Warcraft silliness things.
Yep.
But I don't know one way or the other, so I'm not gonna, say definitively. But
Yep.
I think, like, we've seen this one, like, step up so much, and it's great seeing the evolution. But speaking of seeing the evolution, we will go on to one that we saw earlier before.
And this is Joseph.
Yeah.
I was hoping to finish them this week, but once again, people expect me to do stuff. I'm not built for that. I want my alone painting time back. That yellow on the flames is only an undercoat, not a base coat. Fire to come later. He's upset.
Yes, people keep inviting him out to things.
To socialize, and he's
Yeah.
like, I want to paint. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all know that feeling.
Yeah. Well, so I think this is just an update. You just want to give some quick thoughts because I think we haven't seen a whole lot of progress on this one. And these ones have pretty much just gotten some extra skin and some yellow, I think. Is that?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it?
I think it's nailed the whites. Like that oft white on the
Yeah.
third one is absolutely beautiful. The skin tones are working brilliantly. That blue hair is spot on. Yeah, it depends. Yet again, depends on how far you want to push the contrast.
And Joseph has always been one of the people we struggle to give commentary on because he just nails the target every time.
Well, he does exactly what he intended to do. So, like, when we say nails the target, like, if he wants to do character level, he'll do character level. But, if he's doing tabletop, that sort of thing. Oh, it looks like somebody was pushed to do some more.
What is this? Mr. Co-conspirator responds.
Alright, would you like to read out?
Yeah. Did a little conversion work on the Terminator captain. Not much, but enough to make him more Dark Angel-y. Head swap, changed the crest icon, and swapped the shoulder shield. Basic, but effective. What do we think?
The Reds were nailed by what was his rival's
Justin.
name? Was it Justin? I reckon Justin's Reds were on the guns were a bit better just because they had the contrast, but Alex's greens are better.
You reckon? I really liked Justin's final greens.
Nah, I'm an orc guy, like that lime green.
Yeah.
Damn, that's tasty. But to have that nice crisp white underneath as well. And he's done the chipping on the back there. Have you seen the chipping on the back of the backpack there?
Yeah, I have.
That?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure if
tasty.
you've seen my recent chipping, but yeah, no, I am a chipping fan. But
yeah,
I like to just do the cheaters method by just using mask and just like naturally chip.
Cheeky.
Yes.
But yeah, that very nicely done, mate. I'd like to see what the whole squad looks like. Once you get them all based up and the bases are painted, I want to see a photo. They look really nice, man.
Yeah.
I will have
Keep
to
it up.
agree that that
Yeah.
super bright green cape is really the eye catcher.
Yeah.
Hard to say no to that.
like-
It is a bit of a battle between the greens between Alex and Justin, I think, because when I
Well-
saw Justin's green on the crest, the Aquila, I was like, wow, that's better than GW.
Well, see it is a matter of taste because you guys absolutely love the lime, and the inner dark angel in me is like wanting to scream like
Yeah.
this is way
wanna go
too
dark.
bright.
It is way too bright for
Yeah.
Dark Angels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
I know.
Dark angels, they've got to come in. Listen, it's got to be greener and darker and better and more dark. Dark Knight. All right.
The best Batman. It's Batman in Terminator suits.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All
I think that he might actually have one. Remember that one Batman movie? He came out in full, like he had his own.
Oh, the Dark Knight.
exoskeleton.
Yes.
Oh.
We'll focus
On the Calvin.
We'll give him a green cape next time.
Gondor calls for aid. 3 braziers for relic blade. Flame is removable. Oh, nice.
I reckon they just look nice.
I like these.
They are. I mean, if you want to fix them on and you want to test yourself out next time, look at doing OSL and probably a little bit higher in the red to go to a lucky yellow.
Yeah,
like fade it
the
out.
fire could be pushed a bit, but I think
Yeah.
don't do the OSL because if they're for a game and they're removable,
Yeah.
I'm guessing like there's
Yeah.
some sort of
100%,
objective
yeah.
nonsense there.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're looking for your next thing
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
practice, definitely OSL. But I reckon those totems and the skulls, bang on, man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
touch a goddamn
Rowan,
thing.
Rowan. That one
Ah, Jesus.
fire. That one fire is a middle finger.
I believe
But
that too.
it's time for Rowan to read this time.
Oh.
Ah, yes. These are some of the fun jobs I've been working on. None of them 100% finished. I have a bad habit of never photographing the finished jobs, but they've been fun. Review away.
Review
So
away.
these are a bit of a commission job for me, and I've been testing out like flesh wounds and stuff like that with these squigs, and just doing a bit of chipping and everything like that. So the transition between the reds and the belly, I've done stippling and I've done a whole bunch. So if you zoom in on the chipping on the white panels there, go that one there.
Yeah.
I've that one there I've had a lot of fun on. Doing rusts and everything like that. So yeah, it's been fun. There's a whole bunch of like I could.
So I
spend the
think
next
this
3 hours
is
talking about
I think this has come up well, but I think you
Yeah.
should push the wound more. The reason I say that is primarily because of the comparison here. Like, see, this matches his gum
Yeah.
line, and
Yeah.
like
Oh.
it should be more aggravated.
I 100% agree. But the thing is, it was because you know how I love color so much.
Yeah.
I ended up once all this was painted, most of that detail was lost. You had to go looking for it. Like it was there, but once that strap was painted in, the orc had his banner painted on and everything like that, and all the weathering was done. And then I did a little bit of stippling and striations and stuff on the orc's back. Once it was done, then yeah, I 100% agree. I reckon the wounds should be pushed out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd like that's the only thing I would say with this, like, because that was one of your focuses. I think it like leave the pink where it is, but it needs some red added to it to sort
Yeah.
of and like not a lot either. Like
I didn't
Oh.
actually use any. I didn't actually use any red. I actually used a an ivory paint just to highlight it, and then I just pulled out a red contrast and blended it out.
Yeah, well, I
And then
reckon just
I reckon
touch that red
more red.
contrast around the edges of that to just
Yeah.
let it bleed naturally and like
Yeah.
have a bit more aggravation as if like they're wounds.
Yeah, good point.
And like I think that's good. So I really loved this. This
The stippling, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite has to be the white armor plate and the way you've brought up the rust and the chipped metal underneath. It's so realistic.
Yeah.
It is so easy now. There's a rust effect by
Dirty Down?
Army Painter.
Oh.
No,
Army
by
Painter.
Army Painter. No, this is Army Painter straight out of the bottle, and all I did was just sponge it on.
You
and
just
then I
sponge it on?
went and then all I did was just go around the edge just with a little bit of edge highlighting with the steel, and I reckon it turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
If you keep rolling around to the side, you'll actually see the horn. So I think it's like 1 or 2 photos over. But yeah, the horn is actually it looks fully metal the way that it came out.
Yeah, this was my favorite bit. Like just seeing that bare dark metal and stippling of the rust and then just the paint after that. It just shows like you can tell exactly how this creature uses this armor plate. It's just all that wear. He's just charging in like a rhino, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, that's sort of what I wanted, and that's sort of the wear that I wanted. I wanted that like that wrought iron. It's been painted once. It's just worn to the shit house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
I think that looks great. I liked the look of this. This is just Dirty Down, right?
That's Dirty Down, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was playing around with it. Good tip. Don't put it in boiling water.
Oh.
It denatures the product, and you'll end up it coagulates it, and you got chunky. So you know how the product tells you to have it warm. Yeah, don't do what I did.
That's funny you say that, Rowan, because we have been using it with boiling water.
Well, what we do is so we have the little shot glass or whatever it is.
Yeah, so we pour the product into a shot glass, and we have like a little ramekin, which we pour the hot water in the ramekin, then sit the shot glass in the ramekin and let the heat.
That is
like a bain-marie. Yeah.
That's a much better idea.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, because we did do it the way that you did before, and it did work great. But we didn't actually get the chunks, but it was more just the exploding that we had a problem with.
Yeah. So
the bottle expands bad. Yeah.
No. If you heat it up too much, it will actually expand out.
Oh.
So you'll turn it into a hand grenade of long time cleaning, is what it's called. So I do think that so I'm gonna get us to comment on that in just a second. But there was one thing with one of them that you know that big horn. I think that there was like a big dot in the middle of it.
Yeah, I've fixed that one up.
Okay, yeah, no. So there was that
a wash problem,
and like that was pretty much the thing that I wanted to say with that. But
excellent work.
So you know how I was talking about those purples and that yellow that I was talking about. So go back to the back of the carriage. So keep going. It's a seat in the back. Go one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see that seat? Zoom in on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see the purples.
Oh, yeah.
So that's actually like poison yellow. So that's as yellow and green as you can get. And then I just did a purple wash over it. So if you're looking for a different leather texture, that turned out really well.
Very interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
So it's just a different way of like just thinking about colors.
Yeah. Well, we have one final thing to do.
So we've got this from Alex, and it's his true metallic in non-metallic style. Kinda, sort of, you know. So this was his response to when I was talking about how I can't quite understand or wrap my head around trying to do true metallic metals. And then he's like, if you're good at like understanding the concept in non-metallic metal, you can apply the exact same thing with true metallic metal, and this is done. What do we think about the effectiveness of what has been?
Alex, you got way too much time on your hands, my brother. That is really
Well, I'm actually going to be the bad guy here and say like it could actually be picked up a bit more. So he's pretty much gone straight to the steel.
Yeah.
Or rather, I should say the silver. And like with the gold, like I had on Nipple Tassel Lady, Julianthe.
Yeah, Julianthe.
Like you see right here is more that sort of brass gold, right?
Yeah.
There's too much
silver.
Well, no, it's not. It's not the silver. There's no variation in the gold as much. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like right here on the beak, there's some, but the majority of it is all sort of the same color. And what I
Could
would
you
have
fix that? Could you fix that with just like a glaze so you can paint the silver on and then just fix it up with like the gold glaze to give it that blend?
Not with true metallic metal because that's that's gonna
the micas is going to get all.
Yeah. So like.
So you're diluting the pigmentation.
Yeah.
It's not about the pigmentation. It's about how the microflakes reflect and. There's science nonsense, and I don't know how to explain it properly. But what I do know is like, I would have gone with a darker gold here, and then see this would have been sort of my mid tone, and like
that right down the middle here, that he's edge highlight on the cheek.
Yeah,
that should be the brightest gold. I think.
No. So there should be brighter gold than that, but that brighter gold would be a part of this steel highlight, and like it'd all be about a part of that sort of reflectiveness.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so since we're at the end, I'll no, I'm silly. I'll leave that up, and I'll sort of show what I'm talking about. Plus, we've got to roll down to the end, and my one's more towards the end. But Rowan, while we're sort of finishing up here. Is there anything that any bit of advice that you think an audience could really benefit of? If like you could say one thing that you'd want to tell your whole audience.
Don't spend your money on all the products. Yeah. You only need the base view. Push yourself with just your basic colors and learn the techniques. The more time you spend with brushes in your hands, the more time you'll actually learn. And every time you pick up a piece, try and think of a technique you want to practice. If it might be brush control, it might be washes, it could be stippling, it could be OSL, zenithal, focusing on cleaner techniques, highlighting. Just every time you pick up a new piece, focus on learning something new. That's how you get better. It's not how expensive your brushes are. It's not how much paint you've got. It's about the techniques and making things work.
Yep.
And that's probably about it. And have fun. Like if you're struggling, if you burn yourself out, you're not going to enjoy it. And then it's done. And find things that you think that are fun, you don't know how to do, and just do it. Like what's worse can happen? You strip a model, so you strip it back and you do it again, and you practice and you learn. It's easy. Like even if you do stuff it up, learn how to fix it. That's another skill. So yeah, just practice, and have fun. Like there's no point in doing it if you're not having fun.
Yes, I would say it's okay to not have fun for a short period of time if you're getting the results. Because We've all been in
Yeah.
that situation where we've been like, F this thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But so this is what I was talking about. So see here, honey, right? Like this is actually the
Yeah.
gold. And like that's how that should have been highlighted. And you can see it a lot right here. So there's actually a bright white silver in that, right? But it's barely there. And that's what should be here. So like on that beak right there, on right here, on the tops of those things, those should be the more gold sort of things, right? And so that's the thing. But like I think one of the hardest things about true metallic metal and non-metallic metal is you've just got to spend time studying things.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna call it on that one. This is one of our longest ones that we've ever had, and I think it's due to our no. I was about to say I think it's due to our amazing guest, who came in with.
Apologize.
No, don't apologize. This is why we like to have the guests on, because then there's so much more banter. Like we get to do fun stuff that we normally don't get to do, because there's not really anything that will prompt that.
Because often, believe it or not, Sunny and I agree on most things. I know that it doesn't seem like that because all everybody sees is us fighting. You know they can't see the faces you make, honey.
Okay.
But we can all imagine it.
Yeah, you can all see from the silence. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I want to thank Rowan so much for joining us.
Yes.
And I want to thank
you for having me.
Yeah, and I want to thank all of you for joining us. And we'll see if there's any last comments before we go. No? All right. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope that you have an awesome weekend, just the most amazing weekend you can. And as always, keep those brushes wet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.